So this is just to kind of preface this little video that I'm going to show. We were sitting up in the blind looking for deer this gun season, and I just remembered this post that one of my colleagues placed on Facebook. He's probably of the liberal Democrat bent, but I saw this kind of meme that he put up on Facebook. You know, every time Trump tweets "America First," just remember where he got that slogan from. Well, he's insinuating that he got it from the Ku Klux Klan, and I'm thinking, I remember history. The Ku Klux Klan was started by a bunch of Democrats. So, I replied to his post by saying, I don't know why this is going up and down like that. Oh. Anyway, I replied to his post by saying, asking him, are you saying that he got it from the Dems? Because it's my understanding that the majority of those pictured in your photograph were probably of the liberal Democrat persuasion. And then he gives a wonderful explanation of where the Klan came from. The Dixiecrats were nominally Democrats, but were far-right sect. Many broke away with George Wallace to form a wingnut far-right American Independent Party, which in 2016 fused with the GOP and nominated Trump and Pence. Oh, well, that's funny because I seem to remember one certain, Robert Byrd, senator from West Virginia, who was embraced by your party leader, Hillary Clinton. Trump's opponent was once a Klan leader. Things that make you say, And then he comes back with, really, Vic, we can pull the odd antidote for almost any argument. Doesn't make the argument. Senator Byrd entered the Senate before you were born, leaving in 2010 after serving for over 20% of the Republic's history. He voted against the 1964 Civil Rights Act, but then in 1968 voted for it, I guess. Even an old Klansman can learn. Just like you imply that, Trump got his Make America Great from the KKK in your picture post. Just like that. Got it. Anyway, those that, and this guy's smart. I mean, you can tell he knows what's going on. He was pretty much caught with his pants down, in my estimation. But he tried to kind of turn it around on its heels by, stating that, that portion of the Democratic Party turncoated and went, toward the far right, and became part of the, America's Party or whatever the hell he called it up there, which is probably true, and then morphed into the Republicans. But I know that the two-party system is designed to kind of keep us fighting, but I'm not sure he's completely 100% right the way he puts this overarching meme on Facebook. Enjoy. Did we script this conversation?
Which conversation?
This one that we're going to start right now.
No, this is completely extemporaneous. So please ask me the question.
Was the KKK founded by the Democrats or the Republicans?
The KKK came out of the Reconstruction era as opposition to the abolitionist. And since the Republicans were the abolitionists, the ones that promoted abolishing slavery, those that were opposed to it, which would have been the other party, which would have been the Democrats, were the ones fighting the Reconstruction, and they also fought slavery. So, as you recall, the Deep South was controlled by the Democrats for up until modern times, and that was those individuals that were in favor of slavery and the Jim Crow laws, and it was Republicans that abolished slavery, abolished the Jim Crow laws, that fought for civil rights. And while some of the civil rights legislation coming out in the 50s and 60s may have been under certain Democratic presidents, it was the Republicans that pushed them through, because the Deep South Democrats were in favor of segregation and had been the party of slavery and were the members of the KKK. Recall, Robert Byrd, a Democrat from West Virginia, had been a KKK member. So,
Were there any Republicans ever a KKK member?
I guess it's possible, but I don't know of any, because it was the Republican Party, the party of Lincoln, those that fought for against slavery and for rights for all people. And the Republicans are constitutionalists, generally speaking, and those of us that are constitutionalists firmly believe in the freedom of all persons and equal rights, and believe that we believe in equal protection, and we don't believe in identifying individuals by the color of their skin. It's the Democrats that promote identity politics. The Republicans believe in meritocracy based upon your efforts and skills and etc. so forth. So,
Huh. I always thought it was the Republicans that started the KKK.
no, it was not. But I know the progressive identity politicians of today would like you to believe that, but really they're the ones who are the bigots and racists, because they believe in judging a person by the color of their skin or their national origin, which is completely anathema to the founders of our country and well, at least those who believe in equal protection for all men under the law.
Mm-hmm. And those poor minorities, they're so stupid and dumb that they need special treatment, don't they?
You know, unfortunately, our progressive brothers and sisters want you to believe that, but clearly I think there are many people of all races, colors, creeds, backgrounds, who will let you know that they want to be judged by their abilities, how hard they work, the effort they put in, and it doesn't matter. And those of all colors and races and backgrounds and national origins, people who believe in being judged by your efforts, would say that that statement that they need protection is offensive. It's only those who want to promote, again, identity politics, because those individuals are the ones that believe in staying in power, attempting to maintain their power by segregating, by separating people. Unfortunately, that has been adopted by certain individuals of color because they are seeking to control and have power, and they really, I don't believe, care about those individuals who, even from their own racial background, um, would just like to have a better life. I think they seek to continue to make them dependent upon handouts, and that I find to be offensive.
Would you think that a man of even a modicum amount of education would know that the origins of the KKK through studying history? Or because it just seems like these liberals today, they for some reason they don't study history.
Well, I think in large measure, much of the fact that people don't know history is on the basis that progressives, those who adopt identity politics, those who have a Marxist-Leninist viewpoint, actually are in many ways controlling the educational process and controlling what is taught. And so there's just a lot of young minds who have not been exposed to accurate facts or accurate history. They've unfortunately been spoon-fed a myth, and that is the sad part of our current educational system. But there are some positives out there. There are places where you can learn, and I think ultimately, if we just continue to promote classical education, thinking, critical thinking, that hopefully we can have a better educated electorate, better educated citizenry.
What if they're extremely educated and still don't read history?
Well, I think there are some who are extremely educated that know the history but choose to promote something other than the truth because they subscribe to a school of thought that is essentially a Marxist understanding, because they understand that if you control the masses through misinformation, that you can consolidate your power. So there are many who subscribe to that school of thought ideologically, and they're bright people, but they are...
Would you say they were subversive? How can they be bright people and want to subvert and pervert history in the United States?
Well, because there are those of the ideological bent who are, dare I say, lack a moral compass, or their moral compass is pointed in a direction that is, for lack of a better term, evil. It is their goal, because they believe they're elitists. They're individuals who think that they know better than others, and it's a form of narcissism. And unfortunately, I think we see too many narcissists in our society who think they know better than others. And these are the same people that call out the hardworking people of America, those who, you know, believe in God and go to church and want to live their lives with the two great commandments: love God and love thy neighbor. And these people, that's anathema to them. They reject that. They believe in some sort of form of superiority, I guess, if you will, on their part, and only a few should control, and because that few knows better. And we know from classical training that what that means is you run into what's known as an oligarchy, and Plato and Aristotle understood that that eventually becomes tyranny, and that tyranny is evil. It's inherently evil.
So that's probably the same mentality that would say abortion is okay, right? Because even if you argue that on a secular level, abortion, if you think about it, there's only one time that one sperm and one egg will produce a 1 in a trillion person. Yet these liberals would just as easily allow that person's life to be disposed of as not.
Well,
so that there's no potential.
Abortion is a violation of natural law. And even if you are not a Christian or a believer in the monotheistic God of the Christians and Jews, you could still have an understanding of natural law, which the founders of our country firmly believed in. And certainly that's because they were trained, classically trained. They read the Greek philosophers. They understood that there is something inherent above us as individuals that those of us who are Christians believe that's God, that's our creator, but this natural law toward certain inalienable rights, as our founders referred to them, and primary among that is life, and that's life in all forms. And I don't think the science is debatable anymore that life is created upon conception. It's just a matter of nourishment and time after that, and that to abortion is the termination of that life, which is a violation of law, and it's a violation of inalienable rights.
Life.
And it's an abomination. And I don't think that really can be debated from, if you really understand philosophy and wisdom. It only can be debated if you have an ideology that's against those things. And I don't know how you could, but apparently there are people that have that ideology.
Cool. Thank you very much.
We must be bored.